السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله يحب التوابين ويحب المتطهرين. صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, it is a blessing that Allah.Ta'ala has allowed us and He has given us to the ability to be able to join the congregation of Jummah on the sacred day of Jummah, where we all come together to pray Jumu'ah Salaah. Instead, we could have been doing many other things, but we came because we wanted to please Allah.Ta'ala and because we wanted the pleasure of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ on the day of judgment, inshallah. On a time where it's going to be hard for a lot of people to be getting mercy, or for a lot of people to be getting, chosen to put into Jannah. So this effort that we're doing right now, and we're sacrificing a lot of other things that we could be doing besides this, instead of losing out, we're just saving our rewards so that it will be easier for us in the hereafter. So we shouldn't think of, maybe some actions as in, I'm losing this, or I'm losing this, like I'm losing time, or I could be working, or I could be doing any other thing. Instead, you're saving up your hasanat for something that's even better, for a life that we're going to live in forever. This life is only temporary. So inshallah, past that, today I wanted to talk about something that's important in Islam, and one thing that I think that usually a lot of people maybe disregard, or one thing that we don't give, a lot of insight into. And that, my brothers and sisters, is cleanliness. Cleanliness is, very highly looked on in Islam, and as Muslims, it is our duty to make sure that we are as clean as we can be at any time during the day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله يحب التوابين ويحب المتطهرين. Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who turn to Him in repentance, again, who continuously turn to Him in repentance, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who keep themselves clean and keep themselves pure. So as Muslims, our goal in life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as best as we can, and to follow the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So then this, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He loves those who are pure, who are clean, is something that we should try to keep in our highest regard, something that we should try to do as best as we can. Because cleanliness isn't only just like, we're keeping ourselves clean, or we're just like looking fresh whenever we go outside. It's also, good in affecting our actions as well. For example, say Salah, for example. If we were praying Salah, but then say wudu you didn't do properly, or there are some parts of your body or your clothes that are not clean, then either your Salah, you won't get the full rewards of your Salah, or your Salah won't be accepted outright. Because you didn't keep yourself clean, or some part of you is not clean, and then that's going to affect the, reward that you get from the certain action you're doing. So then keeping that in mind, whenever we're doing anything, we should always make sure that we're fully clean, because at the end of the day, if we're just doing whatever we want, we could be giving sadaqah, we could be fasting, we could be praying salah, we could be reading Quran, we could be doing all of this, but then if you're not clean, then it's not accepted, or you're not going to get the full rewards of it. So you're losing out because you missed out of some very important factors. On top of that, keeping clean isn't only like physically, like taking a bath, or just making sure that your clothes are clean, or there's nothing dirty around. Also, on top of that, you're supposed to keep yourself spiritually clean. Like, for example, if you're in the state of wudu, or if you take a ghusl, like for example, when you're coming to Jumu'ah Salah, you take a ghusl before you come to Jumu'ah, those aspects are keeping yourself physically clean, or just keeping your mind clean of anything haram, anything that you're not supposed to be doing, keeping yourself clean, staying away from any sins that you're not supposed to be looking at, you're not supposed to be listening to, you're not supposed to be acting upon. So, not just physically clean, we should also be spiritually clean as well, so that we can make sure that all the actions we do, we get the full reward of it. We're doing it to the 100% best of our ability. And then we should also make sure that, we're looking out for other things that could possibly make us like not clean, that could possibly make us najis. For example, pork, alcohol, saliva from a dog, any like urine or stool, any discharge, all those things make you impure or not clean, either spiritually or physically, whichever one comes into those categories. So then, as a Muslim, it's your responsibility to make sure that you yourself are clean, and you made sure that you looked and removed any impurities that were on you or around you before you did your action. Because you can't come and say that, oh, I wasn't aware that I was not clean. I wasn't aware that, there was this impurity on me. That's your responsibility. That's your job to make sure that you're not clean. No one's gonna come to you and then say, oh, look at your, look at your thobe. There's a spot right there. Or they're not gonna tell you, did you make wudu before salah? You're supposed to be on top of that yourself. You're supposed to make sure that you know that you're clean, and that you know that you're ready to do whatever action you're supposed to do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at any given time. So besides keeping yourself clean, another thing that we should also keep in mind as Muslims is just keeping ourselves clean, and then keeping our environment around us clean as well. We can't just go outside and then make sure that we're clean, but then wherever we're going is not clean, or wherever we're supposed to be at is not clean as well. For example, places we use, things we use, anything we use from anyone. If we borrow something from someone, you should give it back to them in the best manner it is. Or, for example, if you're going somewhere, like in your house, you should make sure that your house is clean and as tidy as possible. So then, for example, some whatever bad things that could happen afterwards don't happen. Like, for example, if you don't keep somewhere clean, then it might lead to a lot of diseases. It might lead to a lot of illnesses. Like, for example, mold growing into your house, or just like bugs and roaches growing from the places because you didn't keep that place clean. And then another thing, for example, besides your house, is just like places you go, other people's houses. When you go to other people's houses, you should make sure that, after they invited you, you at least make sure that the place is clean, or you leave without leaving any mess in their house that they're going to have to clean afterwards. And then after people's houses, you could also say, for example, the masjid itself. Because the masjid is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we come to the masjid to do whatever activities. We come for salah, we come for classes, we come for lectures, whatever it is. We should make sure that when we come to the masjid, we also leave the masjid cleaner than when we came in the masjid. If it was dirty, for example, we should try to clean it as much as possible before we leave, or we should try to keep it clean the way it was when we came. So then afterwards, there's not any mess in the masjid, or there's just like not garbage in the masjid. One of I think the lowest forms of iman is that the Prophet Muhammad said is to remove an obstacle from the side of a road. So then if that's the lowest form of iman, the least we can try to do is to at least, remove any dirt or remove any garbage we see like in the masjid or anything around, for example. Because we come to use the masjid, but it's for our benefit as well. It's not that we're benefiting the people by coming to the masjid. Coming to the masjid is in your own benefit, so we should try to keep it as clean as possible. Because say, Allah forbid, that for some reason the masjid had to close, or for some reason the masjid wasn't available. That's going to affect the majority of the community, because the masjid hosts like so many programs, so many events, so many other different things, and other other tools for the community to use. So then we should, take advantage of that. We should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we should try to pitch in and put our own efforts in the masjid as well. For example, by like keeping the musalla clean, keeping the bathrooms clean, making sure that we don't leave a mess that others have to clean up, because it might be the duty of a person to clean. Like there might be a designated person to clean a certain area, but then that doesn't mean that you just leave a mess for them to clean because you know that they're going to clean it. That's not gonna put a good image on you. Neither is that gonna put a good image on Islam. Like say for example, you went to the store or you went somewhere, anywhere, and then you used the bathroom, but then you left the bathroom in a very terrible manner. And then if someone was to come after you, like say for example a non-Muslim, they were to come after you and see the bathroom in that state, then they would think, oh, Muslims don't keep themselves clean, or they don't care about keeping their surroundings clean or anything. It would put a bad view on you, and then it would also put a bad view on Islam as well. So that's one thing we should try to keep in our mind, not just keeping ourselves clean. That's not the only important thing. The important thing is also keeping our environment clean. Not just like leaving a mess anywhere for others to come and stumble upon, or just leaving a mess for other people to come and have to clean up. We should try our best to make sure that, we keep other places clean, and then we don't also put more work on other people who have to, go through all that garbage. And it's not good for someone to like, just pop in the bathroom and see just like a whole mess everywhere. It's going to be very, disgusting, very discouraging. So that's one thing that I think we should keep in our mind. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to, be more aware of the places we're treating, and be more aware of how clean we are and how clean our surroundings are. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. So after, keeping cleanliness in our mind, that's one thing that we could try to practice upon in the couple coming days, because Ramadan is coming really close. It's not that far. It's just a couple more days away. And then Ramadan is going to be upon us. So then with that in mind, Ramadan would be the time where a lot of people would want to do a lot more actions, a lot more worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then if you're not clean, most of those are not going to be accepted, or most of those are not going to be accepted in the full reward that you should be getting. So then after that, you would basically be just wasting your time because you didn't realize that it's important to keep yourself clean. And then we're in the month of Ramadan, so that's one thing that we should keep in mind, inshallah. And then, of course, a lot of people are also going to be using many facilities like the masjid, for example. So then when we come to the masjid, we should also try to make sure that we leave the masjid clean as well, especially in the month of Ramadan, because the month of Ramadan, there's not going to be a lot of time. A lot of people are going to be busy. And then it's going to be a real problem upon a lot of people to be, taking care of the messes that are left in the masjid. So us using the masjid, we should put that responsibility on ourselves to make sure that we don't leave any mess. We should try to remind others not to leave any mess. We should make sure that the place is clean. For example, when we come to pray Salaah, there's no mess left. In the hall, there's no mess. In the bathroom, there's no mess. And then when the people come for like iftar or suhoor, for example, the cafeteria area is clean. There's nothing that's, causing any disturbance to anybody, or anything that's going to be an obstacle for the people who are coming to the masjid. And then for Ramadan, for example, if you had like a team, or if you had like a competition or a project, you wouldn't start working on that project the day before, or the day like 2 days before or 3 days before. You would start preparing from maybe weeks before. The teacher would probably tell you that project like a month in advance or 2 weeks in advance, and you would start working then. So then you would be already prepared when that time comes. You already have your plan set. So as in just like Ramadan, we should not just come the day of Ramadan or the night of Ramadan and then try to make our plans on what we're going to do, or how much more worship we're going to do to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. all that preparation we should be making in advance. So at least like maybe a couple months before Ramadan, you should start thinking about that. Like maybe 3, 4 months before Ramadan even comes, you should just keep that in mind. But then now we're already in like about 11 or 10 days until Ramadan. So then we might as well start now, if never. So keeping that in mind, we should just try to plan out what we're going to do for Ramadan, how much we're going to try to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than we have, how much we're going to try to better ourselves than we were before Ramadan, and how much we're going to try to improve ourselves so that after Ramadan, we're a completely changed person. We're not the same person who was doing, skipping salahs, or the same person who was like barely fasting, barely giving sadaqah, the same person who was barely reciting Quran and all that stuff. We should try to image ourselves and see that, this is the person I want to be at the end of Ramadan. This is the person I want to be throughout the year. So then with that image in mind, we should just put out a plan and then just chart down what you want to do for Ramadan, even if it's like mentally in your head or if it's like on a piece of paper or on your phone, for example. You can put down goals, you can put down like a checklist, which actions I want to do. You can leave reminders on your phone on certain times. For example, you'll say you'll wake up in the morning and then maybe I'll pray just 2 rak'ah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just nafil salah. And then after that, some certain time, I'll read some parts of the Quran, even if it's not a lot, a surah or just 3 ayahs of the Quran is better than nothing, at least. It's better than just sitting down and saying that, I can't read a whole Surah Baqarah for the Quran, so, I'm not going to attempt it. At least maybe 1 page or 2 pages, even half a page. So then if you were doing that by the end of Ramadan, at least you've accomplished something. You didn't sit down and say that, it's hard for me, so I'm not going to try it. I at least read some Quran throughout the year. And then throughout Ramadan, I did this much. And then next Ramadan, inshallah, I'll try to do this much. Throughout the year, I'm going to try to do this much. The year, we have 365 days. In 365 days, you could easily do, if you were to read 2 pages every day, you could almost finish the Quran in, a whole year, about. So with this in mind, we should try to plan and make a plan for Ramadan, so then when Ramadan comes, we're not just sitting there surprised, just jotting down plans, because then you're missing out on those days. Ramadan is almost like a booster for Muslims. You get the extra amount of rewards that you wouldn't get on normal days. So then if you don't have a plan set, then you're already missing out on a great amount of rewards that you could have been getting if you already had what you were going to set to do. And then we already know, the certain timings of what's going to happen in Ramadan. We know that Iftar is at this time, Maghrib is at this time, Isha and Taraweeh is at this time, Fajr is at this time. So it's not going to be like a problem, or you're not going to be able to say that, I couldn't make a schedule because, I wasn't sure, or it's random. So, things might come up and I didn't have time to do this or that. You can make a schedule and then plan it out for when you're going to do it. And then on top of that, you could also say, for example, if this doesn't happen, then maybe I'll do this. Or you'll put alternatives for the certain actions that you're going to do. Like, for example, if you can't read Quran, or something comes up where you're going to be able to, you're going to be driving or you're going to be working, you can listen to Quran over your phone. If Salah, for example, you have the whole day to be able to pray Salah. If you just 2 rakats, you can start small. 2 rakats, I'll try to do 2 rakats throughout the day. Then maybe I'll try to up to 4 rakats, maybe 6 rakats. I'll start praying Tahajjud Salah. I'll try to read a little more Quran than I was reading before Ramadan. So with Ramadan coming, we should try to keep this in mind and try to make our plan for what we're going to do for Ramadan before Ramadan comes upon us, inshallah. Allahumma ahdina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt, wa tawallana fi man tawallayt, wa barik lana fi ma a'tayt, wa qina wasrif anna sharra ma qadayt, إنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من وعليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت لك الحمد على ما قضيت ولك الشكر على ما أعطيت نستغفرك اللهم من جميع الذنوب والخطايا وأتوب إليك اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تحول به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أبقيتنا، واجعله الوارث منا، واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا، وانصرنا على من آذانا، ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا، ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا، ولا إلى النار مصيرنا، واجعل الجنة هي دارنا وقرارنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. قم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة وأنزلت. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
Please make sure that we fill in all the lines, all the gaps are closed in, and then make sure your phone is also on silent. Inshallah. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين، آمين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى، الذي خلق فسوى، والذي قدر فهدى، والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله، إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى، ونيسرك لليسرى، فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى، سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى، الذي يصلى النار الكبرى، ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا، قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى، بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى، إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى، صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Hafiz Allah, for that timely khutbah. Today we don't have the clinic today, but we'll have it within the month of Ramadan. We have the Compassionate Care Network. Brother Dr. Zahir will be here with his team to give the screening along with Al Farooq Community Health Center, inshallah. So be on the lookout for that date. Please stay. We have a janaza today. So I believe the board is coming through the left of me right here. So please help us clear the shoes out of the way so they can roll the gurney easily through. Brothers, if you can go around the other exit door so that they can easily bring the janaza through that main door, that will help us, inshallah. Today, the Asr Salah is at what, 3:15, inshallah, still? Yeah, the Jamaah Salah will be at 3:15, inshallah. That's it for the announcement for today. Jazakumullah khairan.
Brother or sister. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wa salam ala rasulillah Muhammadin bin Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this is janazah of our brother Jihad. So praying the janazah is the 4 takbirat. Say takbir, Allahu Akbar, raising your hand. After first takbir, you recite Fatiha, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, to the end. After second takbirah, pray on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, salat al-Ibrahimiyya, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. And the third takbirah, so we ask Allah for our brother forgiveness and have mercy on him. Allahumma fil lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'afu anhu wa akrim nuzula, to the end. If you know that, if you don't know, ask Allah forgiveness and have mercy on him. And after fourth takbirah, We ask Allah for all of Muslims who is present here or is absent, men and female, and adult and children, and all Muslims. So please do sincerely dua for our brother. We need your dua right now. The Prophet ﷺ said, anyone pray on his janazah, Allah will give him reward of qirat. And anyone follow the janazah to the graveyard, Allah will give him another qirat. These two qirat. So one qirat is like big mountain, like mountain of Uhud. Who perform Hajj or Umrah, Ziyarah al-Madinah, see how is mountain of Uhud. So the geology knowledge, they say about 75 billion ton is big reward. We ask Allah to give us that. Please make sincerely dua for our brother. So. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brother Ali, will the janaza graveyard address?
Assalamu alaikum, brothers. We will be taking Brother Jihad to Bohemian National Cemetery, located at 5255 North Pulaski. That's Bohemian National Cemetery, 5255 North Pulaski. We ask those of you that will be going with us to the cemetery that you go directly to your cars, so that we may begin to form our procession and then start our way to the cemetery, where we will have our service of interment for our beloved brother. Again, Brother Jihad will be interred at Bohemian National Cemetery, 5255 North